Ha! Surprise, we're early. Gotcha.
Yep. We could have been like 10 minutes early, but we're talking. So
we're talking.
Didn't happen.
Yeah. I don't talk to Ryan every day, maybe every few days.
But guaranteed once a week. Guaranteed.
Yeah, guaranteed on Friday night. Yeah.
That's right.
Well, the one thing I appreciate about you, Ryan, is like you're not a chatty Cathy on the phone because I'm not either. Right. So I hear this from my family a lot. Like, you don't call. I'm like, I visit you guys more than you visit. We don't need to talk on the phone because I visit.
What do you want me to call? I don't have anything to fucking tell you. If you got something to tell me, you can call me, I suppose, and I'll listen. But if I don't got anything to tell you, I ain't gonna call.
Yeah. Busy. Ryan's a busy guy.
That's
90 videos a month, baby.
Yeah, as soon as we're done with this, I will be probably making a video about, I don't know, Echo or something like that. So
that's good.
The Samba TV chart came out for Echo saying that not a lot of people watching it. So
oh no, even if when it was on 2 streaming services for all 5 episodes in one day?
The chart, the Samba TV chart, I don't think they've released official numbers. I haven't seen it yet, at least. But for that first week says that it's ranked number 9. Number 9, behind things like Reacher, Lift, Society of the Snow, The Equalizer, Ted, Percy Jackson, The Olympians, Brother, Son, and Echo on Disney and Hulu at number 9.
I got to check out Ted. I love that movie. So
I like the first one. Second one was a little.
Second one was not good. No. Yeah. I don't even count it.
Yeah.
We're here to talk about Reacher. Oh, before we talk about, I got to tease something. Oh my God. I'll tell you in the private chat. I heard some of the craziest fucking news today. I have to verify it before I blab it. It's fucking crazy. Here, let's see Ryan's reaction. Hang on, folks.
I'm trying to guess what it'll be about, like in my head. Since now we're talking about Reacher and it's involving Amazon. That's kind of what my guess might be. That has something to do with another Amazon production that we're highly anticipating for all the wrong reasons.
If this is true,
if that's true, that would be interesting.
I have to verify it before I blab it out because I don't.
And it would make a hunch that I literally just made in front of you all. Be right. So
yes. Some of you are right in the chat. You guessed it, but like I'm not sure. So like I don't fucking know. But
we'll see. A lot of rumors flying around nowadays. Star Wars, Amazon, Marvel, whatever it may be. Yeah. But we're not here to talk about rumors. We're here to talk about what actually happened, and that is the season finale of Reacher. Now, we were not here last week for episode 7, unfortunately. I got caught up doing something. Gary got caught up shooting a video, and we kind of time traveled. We're like, oh shit. And we both didn't have time to do it.
Sorry.
So we're like, all right, let's just do a multi one next week. And unfortunately, we missed a really good episode last week. Yeah. Episode 7, I thought, was really solid. Now, for those people that just hate the entire team dynamic for Reacher and like the 110th, you probably didn't like last episode. And I get there's some people out there that just don't like it at all. But if you like it and you've enjoyed like the flashbacks and getting to like understand the team and why Reacher's so attached to him, then I thought last week was a pretty damn good episode.
I agree. The team dynamic doesn't bother me, and maybe that's because maybe it bothers the book readers, which books are always better.
I don't think it should. In fact, I think a lot of things, like I think they do a lot of things from the books, including the little things like he's always flipping that light or shit like that. And they really incorporated that into that. I think they maximize those kind of flashback scenarios, drawing on the material that you had from the books. But
yeah, I think it moves the character forward. If they're already filming season 3 as we speak, because Amazon recognized probably from another couple of shows that whether it's a hit or not, you can't wait 2 years between shows, especially with something like Reacher that doesn't require any post-production, maybe with a helicopter, a CG helicopter or something like that, but that's about it. It's not The Boys. It's not Wheel of Time or Rings of Power, which are absolute shit. But yeah, they have it. But I think it's important to show the team dynamic because it moves the character forward, right? Like you said, it gives you like why he gives such a shit about this team when he kind of doesn't give a shit about
anyone else.
Yeah.
And it's also the one and only time we're really going to see it as well, because I think you could even tell by the way this episode ended, very much a finality with a couple of the characters in there other than Neely, right? It's obvious like she's going to pop up here and there and like a couple other stories, I think kind of like she did in the first season. But the other characters are very much goodbye. Maybe we might get a little cameo like Finley every once in a while, but other than that, it's on to the next one.
On to the next one. Wander in the earth like Kang from Kung Fu.
Dude, to be clear, ending it with Simple Man was just a perfect song. I actually liked a lot of the songs that were throughout this entire season.
But I love the blues in the first season. That's good shit. But like, yeah, ending on Skinner, you're not going to get a complaint out of me.
Yeah, it was like the most predictable thing ever. As soon as you heard it starting to play, you're like, oh my God, I know that they're going to have a discussion. I know they're going to say goodbye. And I know that as soon as they stop talking, it's going to be like, and be a simple, you know that's about to happen. And it was just, it worked perfect. There's a lot of things about this show that I do think it's not like it's fucking groundbreaking or whatever. It's really just taking a lot of storytelling back to basics, you know?
Yeah.
And to be fair, that's kind of what the books are. You know, the books are, hey, he rolls up, he gets caught up in something. There's a little bit of a mystery to resolve and uncover. And at the end of the day, take down a fucking bad dude. And then you're on to the next guy.
Hell yeah, dude. I'm starting an audiobook on my drive out to Florida. I'm doing Reacher. So
Killing Floor is the first one. It's pretty good.
Yep. I can't wait. So yeah, the penultimate episode 7. We'll go over it briefly. Sorry we missed it last week, but best episode of the series, I thought. It really, and I love the ending of it, but it really built things up. And I hadn't read the book, so I'm like, maybe one of these people isn't going to survive. You don't know, probably not, but I mean, that's a possibility. And you think of why am I blanking on his name now? Family Man.
O'Donnell.
Hang on. I'm so terrible with names. I was like, well, God, that's what I was going through the whole thing. I was like, he's dead meat. You remember Dead Meat from Hot Shots? I was thinking, because I was like, he's a family man. He's dead.
Well, and Dixon talks to him about that in like one of the opening sequences when they're getting rid of whatever name and the daughter. And she's like, listen, we got this. You don't have to risk it. We know you've got a lot more to lose than we do. Like, just go home. And he's like, no, I'm seeing this through. Like, we're all in this shit together.
Right.
And so then for him to potentially, end up dying at the end, you're like, oh, fuck. That would hurt a lot. Right. And so effectively what we have, just to go over real quick that episode, we get a big flashback of how everything ended, how Reacher and the entire team decided to defy the orders that they were given to basically stand down in this big investigation. They went, they busted the whole thing up. They get in a massive firefight while they end up finding these drugs. And you get to see pretty much everybody on the team, doing shit and covering each other's ass and doing this, doing that. Ultimately, they take everybody down, but it does cost them the 110th. They get disbanded. They basically all get told, you're going to get fucking punished. Might not be official, but we're going to take a pound of flesh one way or the other. We told you not to fucking do this, but you did it anyway. Reacher, when I put you in charge of this, everybody told me you were going to fuck it up. And he's like, well, I'm glad I didn't disappoint. And he's like, if you're looking for an apology, you're not going to get one.
You're not going to get one. Yeah. And in a lot of ways, that story was just as interesting as the story that was going on in the show. I want to know so much more about that. I mean, I doubt we will, or maybe it comes up in another book.
And I do think I feel like we were expecting something from that story to have like one of the people involved in that story, like their commanding officer, to have like some effect on something. Maybe we get that later on. I don't know. But it certainly seemed important, like that, specifically that guy, their CO.
Yeah. Maybe we haven't seen the last of him. Not really sure. But I thought that was, I love how that ended too, with the firefight, and they find it in the, the drugs in the tire. I was kept on going, check the tires. And they checked the tires.
Well, as someone who's hidden drugs probably everywhere you could possibly imagine, you knew. Check the tires.
Check the damn tires.
And
yeah.
And then it flashed back to current day, and Dixon and O'Donnell they were taking care of getting Marlo or whatever the fuck her name is and her daughter like to safety, while Reacher and Neely went to the hospital to question the dude that they fucking ran over at the end of episode 6.
This scene.
Right? The guy that they ran over who was part of killing Russo and all of that. They go to question him to find out what time's the drop, what do we need to know, and they fucking torture him. They torture this dude. Reacher puts fucking air in his what is it? The thing that you stick up your dick when you're in a hospital.
His catheter?
Catheter. Yeah, he like blows up the balloon, and he's basically like describing what's about to happen to him, and he's about to blow apart his urethra from the inside. And the dude's just fucking screaming and screaming. Finally tells them everything they need to know. And Reacher's like, good. If somebody's urethra blows up, somebody's insides blow up, there's going to be people looking into that. It's kind of weird. That doesn't just happen. They check security tapes. But, after a real bad car accident, if you just have a, what do you,
embolism, something like that.
Yeah. If you just have an embolism, after something like that, man, it's one of those things that just might happen. And he just takes a thing of air and just injects it straight into his fucking veins. And they walk out.
He said, this is for, I forgot his name first.
Yeah, Giovanni Russo or something.
That was fucking great.
That was like, good.
Yeah. Because Russo did die, by the way. Russo did end up dying. So, and I missed him. I thought he was a good part of the show. I thought Russo was a good part of the show, but some characters got to die. Yeah, so they get the information out. They chase another guy down, and him and Neely are fighting him in the hospital. And he's got like some bone grinder going like just right at Neely's face, and her last words are like "fuck you," and then it just stops, and Reacher like unplugged it, which is great.
It was great. It was good, and you see Neely go in there with a weapon, and they struggle a lot. She eventually gets overpowered by this dude, and this dude is about to fucking take this grinder and fucking kill her. And all of a sudden, it just powers down. You like pan to the left, you see Reacher's unplugged it. Right.
Yeah.
And then
so simple.
And then so like Neely fucking hits him, and Reacher like fucking yanks it and drags him back, and literally just like smashes his fucking head against something, and he falls down neck right on the saw, and just immediately blood everywhere. And Reacher's like
convulsing.
Like he dies pretty horrifically.
Yeah.
And Reacher's like, damn, I wanted to question him. Well, fuck.
So good. I loved it. But they made a mistake. There was a tracking device in their car where they met up at a hotel
in Russo's car.
And Langston figured it out, and he grabbed Dixon and O'Donnell, and he has them hostage. And freaking Reacher has to think quick, so he's like, Neely's dead, because Langston was like, you two come over right now and we'll get this all sorted out. And he bullshits him and says, well, I'll keep you alive until the deal's done, blah blah blah. We all know that's bullshit. So Reacher just says, yeah, Neely's dead, and I'll and there's cops all over the place right now. I'm being questioned, I'll come later. So he's all fine, but Langston's not dumb, so he's gonna go figure it out. But Reacher knows that and said, hey, that at least buys us some time. And he calls that, is it Senator? I think it's Senator.
Senator Lavoie, I think.
Lavoie, yeah.
The greasy fucking politician.
Yep. Who would offer to help him. So he offers up, Reacher asks for the security detail, basically, to help him and show up.
The same people that went and got him in episode 4 or 5 or whenever that was, where he ended up going under the zoo and talking to them.
Yep.
The same group, the 2 guys and the girl that were part of his security detail.
Yep. So they're gonna help. And then they stake out the warehouse or whatever it is, where they are. In the meantime, AM meets up with one of Langston's guys, gets the weapons, says, cool, we need to put the chips in. We're gonna go back and put the chips in. And while they're staking out the warehouse, some kids come up and tell the security guard to go fuck himself and throw a beer at him.
And clearly they're there from time to time because it was like, I keep telling you guys, I'm going to come out there and beat your ass, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Yeah, giving him shit. But that's where Reacher finds out that the fence is electric, and it gives him an idea. So he's all, I like that kid. And he gives himself up. He basically keeps Neely back, who's gonna, keep an eye on everything through her scope. And he gives himself up, and they roll out O'Donnell and Dixon. Dixon looks just panic stricken at the time, and Reacher has a little smirk on his face.
And I think, well, we also they were getting tortured as well. O'Donnell and Dixon were getting tortured in episode 7, and O'Donnell's getting fucked up. He's like hanging by his hand, just getting the shit beat out of him by his own brass knuckles, basically. And Dixon's pretty fucked up too. And once O'Donnell won't talk, they fucking just stab Dixon with O'Donnell's switchblade and shit like that. So they're going through it. They're pretty fucked up.
They're really fucked up. And that's not even it. So so Reacher gives himself up. There's a little smirk on his face, and that's where that episode ends.
What song did they played a good song at the end of that episode as well?
Let the man go through.
Let the
man go through.
Yeah, I liked a lot of the soundtrack for this season.
Yeah, I like the season too. I forgot who that Soul Coughing. That's right, Soul Coughing. Heavily played in the 90s, right? Yeah, the 90s. I remember that. I was listening to that in my little parts delivery truck. Heard that song a lot. Damn good song. Good stand-up bass on that one. So we pick up where we left off. They're arriving. And you know what? I had to watch it the second time. I didn't pick up the fact that he took I forgot what they're called now. The thing that binds the paper that they were talking about, the tack or whatever.
Tack, yes. He took that out. Yes, he did take that out, and we didn't see him do it, but he took that out and got an idea, and he put that in his shoe, or he basically shoved it in his boot.
Yeah. So, and beforehand, before he went in, he had a nice little talk with Neely going, we all have to die sometime. Yes, Dan, I remember the year 90. I do. I remember the original year 90, not like 90 AD. Okay. Like the 90th year. That's how fucking old I am. And don't forget it. Might not be able to catch you because you have a lot of exercise running from your packs of murderous children who always want to mug you and then murder you and then defile your corpse in your godforsaken country. But I can outthink you. I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing on Twitter, by the way. I see what you're doing.
What is he doing? I don't even know.
He's going for the home run. That's what he's going for. He's working on a song. He's going for the home run. So if I were you, I'd have kept that quiet.
Gary's going for the home run too. You don't even know.
I'm going for But Dan can call the shot. Dan can walk up to the plate like Babe Ruth and freaking hit a home run every time. Me, I'm Tony Gwynn, dude. I'm just gonna hit a little single.
Slapping singles the opposite way.
Yep, all day long, baby.
What does that mean I'm doing? Like bunts?
No, you're actually more like Tony Gwynn.
I'm bunting 15 times a game.
Like Tony Gwynn. I'm like Gary Sheffield.
There you go.
Guy was awesome.
That waggle,
Yeah, that guy was awesome.
He's on the cusp of the Hall of Fame this year.
I should be in the Hall of Fame.
He definitely should be, and he's sitting there. We don't know what all the votes are, but he's sitting like 74% of based on what we know. So we'll see.
Yeah, getting to watch that guy play. They just don't make him like that anymore. They don't make him like that anymore. The 5-2 player, man. Guy could have done I don't know if he could pitch, but like he could do everything else. 4-2 player. Yeah. Probably could pitch, honestly. So we pick up where we left off. Langston's got Dixon and O'Donnell strapped in gurneys, right? And just like they did with the guy in the beginning, and they're going to toss him out of a helicopter. And we're like, well, possibly Reacher's going to get his wish to toss Langston out of a helicopter. But first, they take him in, and they got a monologue a little bit. And we find out what happened to Swan, which is very sad. The only thing left of Swan is probably a finger, right? They didn't show us the finger, but a finger and an eyeball.
I think a finger was in there.
Or was there a finger in there too?
There was a finger and an eyeball in a jar. Just as kind of we had suspected maybe something like that is going on, because we're like, well, either they're keeping him alive there, or they just have the parts they need. They needed his fingerprint to do something, and it needed a retina scan. And hey, Reacher was right about the entire thing, despite everybody in his team trying to convince him he was wrong.
Yep.
So Swan was a good dude through and through.
And that's the one thing that does give the series impact. And I'm gonna watch it again, all the way through.
I want to do one watch through, a binge watch as well.
Yeah, because like half that crew's dead that we're following. Like they're dead. One guy get hit by a car, so he had nothing. That was like
the black guy got hit by a car in Idaho.
Yep.
Well, at least I don't know if they said it was in Idaho, but that's the way it is in the books. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was. Well, they said Montana or Idaho.
Maybe that's it. Maybe it's Montana. Maybe
one of those states that won't exist if Yellowstone blows up. So which sucks because I actually have some family and friends up there, so I hope it doesn't happen. But yeah, and Langston basically goes over like what he was doing. Swan, he was just using his eyeball and his finger to sign off on things, so he doesn't. No blame is affixed to him, and he's just an old New York cop who wanted to fuck everybody over, get $65 million, and go to the beach. It's a very 80s. 90, it's very Die Hard. It's a very 80s, 90s concept, which I don't have a problem with at all. I don't have a single problem with any of that. Of course, he has to monologue. I actually like the eyeball in the jar thing. I'm like, yeah, I need more of that. I need more of like just a bad guy being bad. That's all.
And before we got that, remember, like Reacher just gets brought in there. There's like 5 guys around him. And Langston gets a phone call and like walks away. And he's like, hey, strap him down on the gurney. And Reacher's like, no.
Yep.
Just the typical, like, we've seen that a lot. He gets asked to do something, get in a car, do this. He's like, no. And so guy walks up, fucking head. But Reacher starts fighting these guys, literally handcuffed.
And beats the shit out of 5 guys.
Beating the shit out of fucking like 5 dudes. And he actually has beat them, right?
Yeah.
And then Langston freaking pulls a slide back and is like, Neely's not dead, is she? And like that was a call from his guys, like, hey, there's only one body at this morgue. Whatever this guy told you, he was bullshitting you. And Reacher's like, well, you can't kill me until you know where Neely's at. So put the fucking gun down. Don't pretend like you're actually gonna do it. And so that's when he gets sat down, actually, and then
he shoots O'Donnell. He's all, I can't shoot you.
That's right.
But I can shoot him. Boom.
Fucking O'Donnell just gets a fucking shot immediately. And then he's like, hey, we can't have any like forensic evidence. Pull that slug out of him.
Yeah. Then he has a bullet pulled out.
Yeah. It's his switchblade. He's like, don't worry. Things are going just as planned, boss. And like as somebody's digging a fucking bullet out of him. O'Donnell gets fucked up in this, man.
He gets fucked up. And I just have to point out, because I'm a male and misogynist, that Dixon's tits were looking great, even though she was getting tortured.
Dixon, the strap was very strategically placed on Dixon to like ultimate push-up.
Give him maximum lift. Yeah. Well done. Well done. Hey, they wanted us to look at that. They wouldn't have done it like that, okay? Just being a good viewer. That's all I'm being. My wife noticed too. Okay. She's like, man, tits are looking good.
So as all this plays out, they're really not getting anywhere. Reacher's not going to tell him anything, blah, blah, blah. As that's happening, you see Neely outside. You see her basically with a rifle, and you see her kind of practicing going back and forth with this motion. All right, one,
I like
two.
This. Yeah.
I just like the setup. Be like, okay, she's actually like going through the motions, like preparing for when she actually needs to take the shot of what it's going to be like to transition from this angle to this angle. And then when she's finally ready, boom, headshot, boom, headshot. And then you see a plane fly over and a couple parachuters come out. And this is obviously the assistance he's asked for, that security team from Senator Lavoie. Which we didn't really know how they were going to play. You figured they're going to show up. You didn't know they're going to parachute in, but they did.
Yeah, I didn't. So she, and then Neely sees, Langston's like, fuck this. Let's get out of here. Take those two in the helicopter, take Dixon and O'Donnell into the helicopter. We'll come back for him later, kind of splitting them up. and they're going to get tossed out of the helicopter. Neely sees this and just goes, "Oh fuck," and immediately has to move in, figure out a way to move in. And what she does is all of a sudden you start hearing some music.
The same type of music, the same type of old music that the kids were playing before. That's what they used because they think, oh, the kids are back.
Well, Jefferson Starship.
Yeah, and so they send the security guard out to the front to get rid of them. And Neely's sitting there with her back turned, just fucking drinking a beer. And as soon as the guy actually opens the gate so she can get in, she turns around, fucking shoots him, and fucking rushes in as the security team is, they've landed, they cut the power, and they go in through the door.
Right.
That 3-man security team from Lavoie. And then all fucking hell breaks loose. As this is happening, Reacher has reached down into his boot and pulled out the little tack, basically the nail effectively, and is able to undo his handcuffs. So he's freed. As soon as the power goes out, Reacher takes off, and you start to see, just a massive gunfight between the bad guys. Neely comes flying in. Reacher's able to grab somebody's gun, start fucking killing people, and get a little 5-minute gunfight.
We talked about this before the show. That really stood out as something cringe. Okay. I like how Langston said, "We got to get out of here," and then elaborated with every next step. There was like 8 of the plan.
So,
it was
in the middle of it was kind of dumb. So in the middle of the gunfight, he says to his buddies, like, "Fuck this. We got to get out of here. We got to go give them the chips and go get our $65 million and then hightail it out of here.
And then I got to buy some plane tickets, and I got to, I might have to transfer it in an airport. Then I might have to do my taxes." It's like,
it was like it was like a lot of fucking verbiage, and it was stuff we'd already heard. So it was repetitive. Like we knew he was going to do that. So that definitely could have been cut out.
Gary, spelling your name properly. Thank you for the $5. And yeah, that could have, and you know what that was? That was a producer's note. That was 1,000% a.
He's like, "I'm confused what they're doing. Can you add this in?"
Some dipshit moron producer couldn't figure it out and had to justify their existence. Like, you know what? I got all that. The first couple of times he said, "I'm gonna just fuck everybody over for $65 million." Okay, I'm good. But that was like the only really cringe thing in it. And I really liked the first 20 minutes of this episode. I really did. And so all hell breaks loose. Reacher gets a gun from a dead guy, makes some more dead guys with that gun that runs out of ammo.
Reacher kills a lot of people in this season.
Dude,
a lot more than he killed in the first season.
There was a lot of dead bodies.
We get a lot of dead people in this season.
And he didn't fuck around. Like anybody who was tangentially involved in this at all fucking died. Fucking died. I love this. Like, as soon as he got the gun, he got that one guy by just like not even looking.
That was a pretty sick fucking. That was a sick move.
That was good.
That was a sick move. Completely fucking unnecessary. But
unnecessary, unbelievable. Totally worked. I loved it. That part I like. He's like running through glass.
We get a lot of weapon kills, but we also get a lot of like bare hand random fucking kills and shit like that as well. So we got a lot of shit in this.
Yeah, I love the one guy. It was a couple it was the last episode that thought he could just take him. Like
both of them like ran out of ammo. Both of them ran out of ammo, so they just fucking charge each other, and Reacher just like fucking destroys him.
Loads on that dude.
Yeah.
I was like, at least the guy tried. Cute little guy. And he looks so fucking big in this compared to probably what are largely very short actors. But he looks like a monster in this one.
I mean, he's Alan Ritchson is 6'3", and he is massive. He is much more bulked up for this. He admitted that he used TRT. He was on TRT for this season. He says he's not on steroids, but he says he's very open about using TRT. And he put on muscle for this. It's not like he was small in the first season.
No,
he is significantly bigger this year.
Yeah,
he's significantly. Yeah,
pretty crazy. So
he looks insane.
So they get out. Helicopter starts taking off, and this is where it goes full on 80s movie, and I'm fine with it. This part where he grabs onto the wheel of the helicopter, jumps up and climbs up as it's taking off, and he's like 500 feet in the air, like immediately. And the security detail and Neely are just kind of looking like, oh shit.
Well, okay. Well, I hope he hangs on. Yep. And so as they're up there, it's really just it's Langston, one other henchman and the pilot. Those are the only people that are up there. And Dixon and O'Donnell are strapped into their gurneys. And again, this all goes back to the first couple episodes where the first thing they found was somebody that had got thrown out of a helicopter and died.
Yep.
Right. And it was this helicopter, and it was in this way. So
and Langston asked him in that first couple episodes, what is Reacher? What do you want? He's all, I want to throw you out of a helicopter.
I want to throw you out of a helicopter. That was the ending sentence to episode 2 or something.
I think so.
So that might come back into play.
That might come back into play. So they open the bay doors to throw out Dixon first, and there's Reacher climbing his way up. And
you just see like one massive fucking hand just like boom, right? And it starts coming up. Yeah.
O'Donnell immediately sees this and starts rocking his gurney. And henchman number 1 goes after Reacher, and as Langston's about to shoot him, O'Donnell
tips over and runs right into Langston, so the shot misses. But also importantly is before they're like, as they're opening the doors, Langston's talking to Dixon and the ladies first, and they undo or unlock the wheels because they're about to get ready to drag her over. So they have unlocked the wheels of her like hospital gurney thing. So
in a helicopter that's probably going to be moving around a lot with open bay doors on the bottom.
Well, not, who knows if it's going to be moving around a lot. We'll see. But then what happens is, you get that first shot missed, and then Reacher rushes for the guy with the gun, which is, Langston, and they're fighting over the gun. And as it happens, it goes off and goes, into the cockpit and through a window. And all of a sudden you're on a big dive. You're on a big dive with the helicopter. Everybody's fucking rolling around. And then he tries to pull out of the dive and level off. And when he does that, Dixon starts rolling towards the edge. Reacher fucking like jumps and like fucking grabs it so she doesn't go over. Is back to fighting with people. At one point, he gets a fucking knife straight in his fucking arm, and just keeps fighting. And then again, Dixon starts rolling away. She's still strapped into the gurney, and she goes out. She goes out of the helicopter, and Reacher like runs and slides and fucking grabs onto her, and is literally like overlooking the edge, like hanging down. And I will say, like, criticism wise, there's some shoddy CGI in this part. Like, there's not really much CGI in the entire fucking show, but with them
the
like
ground,
hanging, they try to do their best, like made it dark or whatever, but it's some pretty shoddy CGI with the helicopter, like in general. But you get what they're going for. So Reacher's hanging there, just fucked with Dixon on the edge, and God, what is it? Is it Langston comes over and he's like, "Oh, Reacher, here you are. Like, blah, blah, blah. You did all this shit just to come here." And he starts fucking kicking Reacher, like, right in the fucking ribs. And he just doesn't move. He doesn't budge. He doesn't let go. Nothing. And then what happens? Then
the other henchman comes in, and he has to fight him. And he has to switch hands holding the gurney. And now he's hanging on to Dixon with the arm that's got a knife sticking out of it.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. And and like that guy's like about to, I'm gonna fucking use your buddy's brass knuckles and crash your skull. You can let her go. Let the bitch go and come back in here. And Reacher just fucking grabs him by the fucking face and starts fighting with him while hanging on to Dixon. Yeah. As this happens, Dixon is kind of able to struggle out of her shit, like able to struggle out of her like harness now that she's kind of like flat like that. And she somehow is able to crawl up Reacher, grab the fucking knife that's stuck in Reacher's arm, pull the knife out of his arm, and fucking stab the dude with it.
Yep. Just fucking takes him out. It was kind of cool, dude. It's ridiculous, but it was cool.
It was no fucking wild.
Yeah.
It does feel like the show itself, especially I would say this, the last season felt like so like country with a little small town setting. But there's something about this season as well that gives you the feel of kind of like 80s or 90s kind of little bit cheesy action combined with westerns. And what I mean by that is just a sense of fucking justice to something. Like a dude who just rolls into a town and cleans it up.
It's
doesn't
very
really
much
care if he
and western. That's what Reacher is.
That's
man with well, we know his name, but mystery stranger comes into town and helps the town folk. Not this one. It's he gets back with his old posse for one more adventure. And yeah, it's crazy. It's Die Hard level. I mean, it's not as good as Die Hard, don't get me wrong, but that's the aesthetic they were looking for, and it worked. Reacher gets up, and Langston doesn't have his gun, and he's begging for his life, and he's like, "You don't know who he's selling these arms, these arms to, who AM's in." And Reacher just says, "Well, that's an assumption, and we know assumptions get people killed," and he fucking throws him out of the. And O'Donnell's like, "Good line."
yeah, O'Donnell's like, "That's a pretty good line."
That was a pretty good line.
I like O'Donnell, man.
I did too.
And O'Donnell very much is just the fucking smartass in the books as well. So they really captured it in this.
So Dixon puts a knife to the pilot's neck, says, "Get us, take us where you were going." And he's like, "I'm just doing my job." So they do that. They take him to the house of the engineer who was going to show AM how to put the chips in the missiles, and they land there first. AM arrives, goes, "Oh well, Langston's here right on time. That's very efficient. That's good." And he's with his Asian counterpart, and he knocks on the door, and his Asian counterpart gets shot in the head immediately
by Neely, who's like, who pops out of
Neely,
the corner. Yeah. I think it was Neely because I think it came from the side of his head.
Yeah.
I think.
So they invite him in. They finally meet AM, and they sit him down, and we're only 25 minutes in the episode.
That's the thing. So basically, Langston falls out of the helicopter at about the 20-minute mark of the episode.
Yeah. And they show his dead body, by the way, on the ground, just to show you he's dead. He landed on a tree stump, which, ugh. So AM sits down and basically says, "I'm just the middleman, you can't really blame me."
He's like, I didn't know your friends. I'm not the one that got them killed. It was just part of business. And, who are you really upset with? The people that sell the guns or the people that pull the trigger? I mean, it takes a really different, a demented type of person to, pull a trigger. Boom. Get shot in the stomach by Reacher. And then they're standing there, all four of them together, all with guns pointed at him. And after that first shot, he kind of like looks like, "Oh, they'd shot me." And then they all just fucking open up, probably like 20 shots. You know what I mean? Like, and this, he's just fucking, getting shot, fucking collapses on the floor.
They turn him into Swiss cheese. Yeah. So if you're expecting some kind of big battle, that was like, "Now we're just gonna fucking kill you." And they had
it does feel a little bit like you said. I felt like they did a really good job of making AM feel like very mysterious and like you're really wondering dangerous and like wondering who this guy is. And for it to end that quickly, it was very abrupt. Now, what I will say is the whole setup of this, from Reacher in the helicopter to them taking the helicopter to the engineer to then, coaxing AM in there, like that all is from the book. Now it's done a little bit different way, but it does end pretty abruptly there as well. But it was just, it felt like they were making more of AM, but in reality, he was just a guy who can kind of disappear at will and fucking middleman in these bargains. But yeah, he ended quickly. So
the good news is nobody will miss him because he disappears at will, and now he's just disappeared permanently. So they had the engineer and the pilot in the barn, and initially I thought, they're going to get some more information out of them, or they're going to let him go and follow him somewhere else. Little different. So remember, they're with the security detail from the senator was guarding the pilot and the engineer. So they go out to the barn, and I think it was Neely or maybe the security guard said, "Well, judging by all those bullets, we're not going to be questioning anybody else." And no, we're not. So the engineer and the pilot beg for their lives, and Reacher lets them go. They get in their helicopter, and Neely starts slowly loading the bazooka.
Loading up Little Wing.
Loading up Little Wing and the bazooka. Waits for him to fly over the lake. Shoots. Of course, the first one looks like it misses. The only one she shoots looks like it misses, and they go, "Wait for it." And it comes down from the top and just blows the shit out of the helicopter. As soon as that happens, security detail turns on Reacher. They start, And honestly, I was waiting for this to happen. And even they mentioned it. Reacher's like, I thought that would happen sooner. I thought you guys would do this sooner.
Yeah. So basically, like Senator Lloyd doesn't like loose ends, like whatever. There can't be anybody that knows what's going on, blah, blah, blah. And Reacher's like, I was thinking about this too, which is why Senator Lavoie is not the only one I called. And it brings it back to the NS or Homeland Security agent that his brother had worked with, that we saw from episode 4 or whatever it was. They come in with the cavalry with a bunch of sirens going off. He's there and they take care of business.
They do. But they don't get the money back. Reacher keeps the money. Reacher keeps the 65 mil
in bearer bonds.
And
then they immediately walk into like a fucking Waffle House or something, or just some kind of crappy diner, and they just all look fucked up. Reacher's face is all bloody. O'Donnell's fucking limping because he got shot in the leg. Dixon's fucking bleeding everywhere. They just look like hell, and they just sit down in a diner, and everybody's fucking look at them like, what is going on?
Yep.
In the book, I just wanted to mention it because in the book, the helicopter pilot does the same thing. He's like, I was just doing my job. I was just flying. And Reacher's like, well, I mean, you're the guy that, you flew the helicopter where my friends died. You watched them drop off with my friends, right? And he's just got like his hand I think he's got his hand on like the back of his neck or whatever. And he kind of gives him like a reassuring pat. And then he actually just squeezes his neck and like fucking pops his head off his spine and kills him. That's what happens in the book.
That would have been fucking awesome. That would have been fucking awesome.
Like if I'm remembering it right, I'm pretty sure that's the way the guy dies in the book.
Oh, they should have done that.
Yeah, it's like pretty fucking brutal. Yeah.
Hell yeah. So yeah, this is where I thought the last episode was okay. I liked the first part of it. Thought went on too long at the end. I definitely think there was a lot of talking about family and Dixon and Reacher have sex again. And they, I did like the scene where they parse up the money with all the victims to make things right.
That felt good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
take care of Neely's dad and stuff. I'm fine with all that. It just felt like it either needed another episode or they could have gone a little, and we discussed this before the show. They could have stretched out the final battle a little longer to me.
I think that they should have structured it a little bit differently, maybe, so that maybe the last kind of maybe 5 or 10 minutes of episode 7 comes into the front of this episode, because I just feel like having the climax of your season at 20 minutes into the penultimate episode, where you don't need to wrap up too much, is just it makes the wrap up seem a little bit longer. With that being said, I liked them sitting around the fire talking and kind of that final resolution of, we did what we needed to do, right? We all split up all these years ago. We came back and we got vengeance. We got justice for the people that we cared about. And also them just reflecting on everybody else's lives. And really one of the differences from this season to last season is, Reacher doesn't have any fucking doubts about his life or the way he lives it at all, right? In that first season. In this one, you see, especially about halfway through, when he looks at all the connections these people have built, the fact that they all had that picture, that every single person's house he went to had that picture, and they still had that connection to 1/10th. It really does make him think about, am I living life the way I want to?
And he missed out on all that because now a bunch of them are dead.
Exactly. And, what have I missed out on? He sees O'Donnell with his kids and a guy that he never thought would have a fucking family, but he's really happy with the family. And so it really makes him think. But at the end, he gets reassurances from all of them that he's living life exactly the way that he should.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So you really get that like certainty there, which I thought was good. I think it felt good. And
did you catch that final thing between him and Neely when they said goodbye to each other and their hands almost touch? And you saw that two people there who are not going to fucking change, right? You're like, maybe Neely will hug him. No, I'm like glad. And maybe he'll, say goodbye. And he didn't. Like they waved goodbye. She said, we're more than just the 1/10. You know that, right? He doesn't really answer to her.
Yes. Yeah. So Reacher basically, he gives fucking millions of dollars like all these different people.
Yep.
for himself. He says he's going to buy a new toothbrush. Dixon buys him a $2 toothbrush.
Yeah.
And their last little goodbye is pretty good, by the way.
I love that. Was funny.
Their last goodbye is pretty good because he wakes up and he's got an empty bed. Usually he's the one that's leaving. He's like, oh, fuck, did she just leave? And no, she comes in, she gets him a toothbrush. And, she's like, listen, I know this is like, I don't see this as a new thing we started. It's kind of taking care of old business. We understand the way it is. We're not going to go back and forth. But I really want you to come home with me.
And meet my parents.
I want you to meet my parents. And he's like, what the fuck? And she's like, I'm just fucking with you.
That was good.
It was pretty good.
That was good.
And then they're like, well, I mean, we got one more meeting they want to fuck one more time. And she's like, I would, but I saw Donald outside and I'm sharing a cab with him to the airport. I've only got like a minute. And Reacher's like, well, this is going to take longer than a minute. She's like, that's not what O'Donnell said. But then they fuck anyway, right?
They do. That's totally what I would say about one of my friends, by the way, immediately.
Of course. 38 seconds for Az.
Yep.
But then Reacher's gift to himself is buying a year-long bus ticket.
Yes.
That he can take anywhere. So he's got his ticket for the next year on this bus. And as they're going away, Neely's like, hey, Reacher, I know you call a lot of these people in the 110th, again, your coworkers, your friends, like blah, 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 but we're all more than that, right? And this is be a simple kind of man. That's when all this shit's playing in the background. You got Leonard Skinner fucking blasting. Reacher just kind of looks back and just, a little bit of an acknowledgement, walks onto the bus. And as he walks onto the bus, sits down, there's this fucking old man who immediately starts yammering his ear off. He's like, hey, where are you from? And he's like, here. Well, what are you in town for? And he's like, I was visiting family. So that's like the resolution there. He doesn't say it in front of Neely.
Where are you going? No idea.
Yep. And then they just pan out as he's going over a bridge. You see New York in the background. And that's the end of the season. Reacher's back to his fucking roaming alone ways. Rolling out of time. It was like, as much as I didn't like the pacing of the episode in terms of like where they ended stuff, I did like a lot of the resolution and the way that they ended it.
Yeah, just took a little too long for me. Mm-hmm. I would definitely say like season 1 was great. So however you want to score it, I don't think season 2 was as good as season 1. It had some slow episodes, a little bit of pacing issues, but I'm not going to call it terrible. I would call it like 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the first season's like a fucking 9 out of 10, and this one to me is probably like a 7.5. Or maybe something like that. I do want to watch it one more time all the way through because I think it could feel a lot differently when we're not waiting a week. We talk about this a lot, how it feels to binge something versus the weekly releases. So we'll see how I feel after a rewatch of it. It's a much different feel than the first season, but this book is much different than the first book. And this book is much different than a lot of Reacher books, to be honest, with the real lone wolf feel. There's really
it comes like much later in the series, right?
It does. It comes like book 10 or something.
Okay,
it does come much later in the series. So it is a different feel, but I think they did a really good job. As somebody who's read the book, I think they did a really good job of adapting certain elements of it and really showing that they cared a lot about it, from little things like the brass knuckles and the switchblade that O'Donnell carries, to the lighter that one of the guys used, to little references that are direct from the book. But at the same time, they changed a lot of things. They changed the location from LA to New York. So all this stuff was happening on the West Coast in the book, happens on the East Coast here. I think that's probably just, it's cheaper to fucking film in like Toronto or wherever they fucking, Vancouver. I don't know where they fucking film this thing.
It is.
But, rather than actually film in a place that would look like LA. So I think that's probably one reason they did it. And they changed the corrupt LAPD cops to the corrupt NYPD cops. Russo is a new character, and I think he was awesome.
Highlight of the season.
He was great, and he died when he needed to. Didn't feel like they needed to keep him around or bullshit like that. I think that was good. And that's what I was saying when we were having the discussion whether he died or not, because I knew that none of the 4 guys died. You know, I was pretty sure he died.
Yeah, because you got to have somebody die.
You got to have somebody that's that important
to make it dangerous. I get it. He's a good bad guy in Tulsa King. Now you got time to watch Tulsa King, Ryan.
I do have time. Yeah.
Let's get to the soups. Thanks everybody for joining us. Our next review will probably be in August unless something else comes up. That's amazing.
That's right. Matt Damon Targaryen. Let it slip.
August for
House of the Dragon.
August for House of the Dragon. Hardy Boys and the Phantom of the Film Actors Guild. A decent end to a decent season, but the weapon handling and setup in this was hard or retarded. An ex-Ranger Battalion Bubba would advise on a show like this for free and tell them that the SMAW, not sure what that is, would knock Neely. The bazooka, whatever it is. Yeah. What does SMAW stand for, Ryan? Small munitions.
I was guessing the like surface air missile, but I don't know exactly what that stands for, but I assume that you're talking about the surface to air missile that she shot. So
yeah, would knock her on her butt. Yeah, probably. But so well, I think Reacher could fire the Desert Eagle 50 caliber, but that little girl, it would have broke her arm. And
shoulder launch multi-purpose assault weapon.
There we go.
Yeah.
I was only slightly off on that one. WG has gifted 5 Nerdrotic Live memberships. Thank you, WG. What's up, brother? Dude, WG, my outlaw Josie Wales 1/6 scales, a thing of beauty. Absolute piece of art. Just like Clint. I love the Clint Eastwood series. Is so badass, Ryan. It looks just fucking like him. Andre C28 for $4.99 is Star Wars Gone Brook. What's Brook? Am I missing something there? Don't put a super chat. Explain in the chat.
I mean, I assume they mean broke.
Broke? Has Star Wars gone broke?
Has it gone Mel Brooks?
Has it gone Brooke Shields? Has it gone Mel Brooks? I don't know. No. Has Star Wars gone broke?
They switched from suck to blow.
They did.
You can say yes, I suppose.
Yes. That creatively broke, well, since they started. Just people are starting to recognize it now. They can announce 9 movies if they want. I think 1 will get made. I do. Maybe 2. I love Reacher. Alan Richson is super hot, says Aaliyah Wells for $2. Yeah, the ladies are going to like it. That's what my wife was like. I thought it was great. I thought it was fantastic, especially those scenes without a shirt on.
It's like, shocker. Every fucking male superhero in the first 3 phases of the MCU took their shirt off at some point, right?
Yeah, right.
And it's not that guys like seeing dudes take their shirt off. Girls like seeing dudes take their shirt off, but guys do like fucking to see badass dudes doing badass shit.
Yeah.
Right. We like to see fucking Reacher with a knife, with a fucking knife in one arm, fighting off dudes while he fucking is holding on to the woman that he wants to fuck. Like going off the helicopter. We like seeing that shit. That's awesome.
She had some great assets. That would be a total waste if she died. It'd be tragic. She didn't.
In a different multiverse, Aquaman and Zatanna were hooking up in that hotel.
That's right. I really like the distribution of the money at the end. Really good vibes. I like that too. Nick the Geek. Nick the Greek. Sorry, I was called you Geek.
Oh, heaven forbid. That'd be the worst thing in the world.
I know. For $4.99. Thank you. Hail, fellow travelers, says Ark Spartan, member for 7 months. Nice, man. Appreciate it. I think that's about as long as we've had memberships on this channel. Gary, you need to watch the TED TV show. It's funny. Yeah, I'm going to give it a shot because I like the first movie a lot. Cami Anime. What's up, brother? How you doing? Hope you're okay, man. One Piece live action, baby. That's the guy, man. He was on me. He was like, you gotta watch, check this out. And you're right. Just going to say you're right. Gifted 5 Nerdrotic Flav gifted 5 Nerdrotic Live memberships. Thank you very much. We got Gary G super chat. Thank you, Gary G. Cole Hauser for 10 Canadian pesos. Yo, Gary and Ryan, I thought Reacher's former CO was the bad guy. So did I. because they didn't say he was transferred to Korea in the flashback. And the missiles were going where? We're going there, maybe? We don't know where the missiles were going.
I think they were supposed to go to Korea.
It was supposed to go to Korea. Love
Probably
the show.
not North Korea, but yeah.
So maybe this gets picked up in a later season.
The thing is, I would be surprised because I don't think, that was a little surprising to me because it did feel like that was something. Clearly, the entire point of the flashback storyline was to show Reacher's past, show his attachment to these people, show what they meant to everybody. And also, of course, to throw the doubt in there about Swan at one point. Yep. And we didn't talk about that when Langston's given the fucking monologue at the end and he reveals that Swan's dead. And he's like, that's your fault, right? You got to feel guilty for that. The fact that, you taught to be this fucking stand-up dude, blah, blah, blah. You got to feel guilty that you get killed another one of your friends, right? And, Reacher does probably feel a lot of guilt for that.
He does. That wasn't a very good thing that you antagonized him, though. You poked the bear on that one. Love this show. 199 praise. Nice plushie there in your picture there.
That's right.
Ryan,
look at me.
Look at you. Look at me. At least it's not a letter, right, Ryan? At least it's not a letter. True. Orion for $5. With the success of Reacher and Jack Ryan, do you think Amazon could do the same stuff with Jason Bourne? Probably. They'd be smart. They'd save a lot of money if they decided to go that route.
I enjoyed the Jack Ryan series. I don't know if did you watch it?
I did. I thought it was okay.
Yeah,
I wasn't
enjoyed
sold
it
on him being Jack Ryan.
Me neither, because it's hard for me to see John Krasinski as anyone other than Jim from The Office, just to be frank. And also when we've seen other versions of Jack Ryan and shit, like I think it was a good show though. I'm not super attached.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Like I'm not super attached to Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan as like a brand or like a person. You know what I mean? And it has been played by a lot of different people. Yeah, I still really like the Harrison Ford movies. Clear and Present Danger is fucking great. So, and I like what's the black guy's name? I forget his name. Black guy from Suits. But yeah, he's in this. He's in it obviously too, and I think they have a good back and forth. I enjoy that show.
Unwelcome One has gifted 5 Nerdrotic Live memberships. Thank you. I appreciate it. Joe has donated $4.99. We appreciate. Thanks, Joe, for hanging out. And he donates another $9.99. 99. My theory is Reacher is such a loved character because he travels through the world, living off the land, fighting evil, and not looking for payment or praise, like Aragorn, and like a lot of superheroes too. But absolutely, there's nothing not to like about an old school. That's an old school pulp character, by the way, and a Western character too.
Yeah. I don't know if you've watched any of the little snippets they do of each episode, like the little behind the scenes.
No, I haven't.
Well, and like Lee Child's involved in some of them as well, who's obviously the creator and the author, who's very involved in this. If you remember, he made a cameo at the end of the first season, but he's very involved with the show, which is, I think, why you see so many little callbacks to things that legit, like whether it's a direct line or little thing here or there reference directly to the book. I think that's why you end up seeing so much of that, because he's very involved with the show.
That certainly helps. And that's Cole Hauser. Gary, I finished Tulsa King yesterday. Loved it, dude. One of my, even though it came out the year before, it was one of my favorite shows of last year because I watched it last year. It was in my top 3. Tulsa King is the shit. Thank you, Cole Hauser, for 2 Canadian pesos. And that's the last one of the night. Ladies and gentlemen, this was a lot of fun. I like covering something I enjoy. I think it's nice. It's nice talking to Ryan. What do you got coming up, Ryan?
I'm probably need to make a video tonight about Echo. So I'll probably be out in the next hour, I guess, if I start making it when we end the stream. Other than that, we got MegaCon Orlando coming up in 2 weeks. That is coming up fucking quick. What else?
Our panel Saturday, 1:15.
What?
Our panel is Saturday, 1:15 at MegaCon.
That is true. And we will be making the official big time announcement tomorrow on Geeks and Gamers Daily. So I'm sure I'll see a bunch of you guys there as well as the Rippaverse panel gets announced then. So they've got a booth at MegaCon. I really hope to see a lot of you guys. We got a massive panel. The panel is going to be me, Gary, Jeremy, Critical Drinker, Eric July. It's gonna be a big fucking panel. So,
that's gonna be pretty cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
And I get to shop afterwards. I think
or before.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say this. I'm gonna say it anyway. Nobody said I wasn't allowed to say it. I'll be at the Rippaverse booth for a little while after the panel. I don't know what time though. Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah,
I think I'll be there on Sunday afternoon at some point.
There you go.
So, and we also still have an actual like meetup to announce as well, which we're
cool.
We do. We're waiting on final details for that. I know people are asking, and we're trying to get it set up at a place we think is going to be really cool, and it'll be a really awesome place to do it. But we're waiting on final shit. It is a crazy week in Orlando. The Pro Bowl's in Orlando that same weekend.
God, am I going to get on any rides? Am I going to be able to ride Hagrid?
You have to ask for his consent.
Fuck that! I ain't asking for no consent.
I think we'll be able to. I think we'll be able to get it done.
Okay, yeah. Because listen. This is great. I want to meet people and I want to go to Universal because Universal fun. I love that Marvel part. I just fucking love that part. So
it's an awesome fucking vibe. I always walk through there at least once when I'm there. It feels like 90s, cool. Dude.
I heard you talking like, yeah, I was just gonna roll to Universal and get a warm butter beer. I'm like, that'd be cool. That'd be fucking cool.
Yeah, so I have the Universal annual pass, the top tier annual pass, which is relatively inexpensive. I think it's if you're in state. I think when I initially did it was maybe like $700 last year, and I think I got a discount when I re-upped, so maybe like $650. But that means I can literally walk into the park, either park, anytime I want, any fucking day, doesn't matter, no blackout days, whatever. After 4 p.m., I have a fast pass.
Oh shit!
For everything except Hagrid's, because there's no fast pass on Hagrid's yet.
So Ryan's not riding Hagrid, just to be clear.
Probably
after 4 p.m.
Not automatic. I don't have a fast pass ticket to ride Hagrid's at least.
You got to work. You got to take him out to dinner first.
But also, I don't have to worry about fucking parking because that top tier pass comes with free valet parking at Universal.
Holy shit!
So I literally just fucking roll up, fucking hey, blah blah blah. They take my car for me. I walk into City Walk, like right there.
And City Walk is cool as fuck too. So
yeah, and so like that for me, for someone that lives here, that is like a no-brainer because I literally can, if it's like 5 o'clock, drive there. It takes me 30 minutes to get there, drop my car off at valet, walk into the one of parks, go back to Diagon Alley, grab a hot butter beer, walk through the rest of the fucking park, get my car, go home. I can actually do that,
Right. Before we go. Yeah, the Civil War is fought over states' rights, economics. Pretty much. Yeah.
What do you want us to fucking say? Civil War is fought over states' rights. Obviously slavery was a part of that as well. What do you want us to fucking even spam in the chat asking about the fucking Civil War? Jesus Christ.
Lincoln was being a bit of a dictator, and that's why it was fought. It's for money. That's why it was fought. But thanks for asking. Don't know what it has to do with Reacher.
Yeah.
By the way, I did not learn that. Well, maybe I learned it in school, but I actually, on my own, I had a lot of time for a couple of years on my hands to just read a lot of books. And I got most of my history lessons in prison, where I just read books. Prison is so bad that like Stephen King and Dean Koontz books are good. Makes them good. I like Dean Koontz. Stephen King, I don't know. He's crazy. All right, Ryan. Hey, do your videos and I'll do mine. I'm literally just gonna sit there and read articles tonight. Get ready for mine. Not record a fucking thing. I just gotta pre-read the articles.
As I read them, I record myself. I read them out loud and record. There it is.
Is that what you do? I read them for the most part first to see, so I don't have to read the whole thing in a video. I'm like, usually there's about a paragraph worth of content like worth putting on there. That's good.
That's why I'm always like, whenever we end up reading an entire fucking article on FNT, I'm like, why are we fucking reading the rest of this thing?
Because I didn't pre-read it. You know what? I'll be honest with you, dude. That's how I workshop a lot of my videos.
On
the live streams are where I workshop my videos. So yeah.
There you go.
That's the dealio. All right. Thanks, everyone. Again, thanks to the Nerdrotics. Thanks to everyone who left super chat donation. You help keep the lights on. We appreciate you. And we'll see you tomorrow night with Betty Johnson.
That's right.
Ciao.
Oh, yeah.